So good morning, everyone. Today we're going to continue our discussion on data wrangling. Okay. So first, let's install a package called Librarian. So the Librarian package is very helpful, especially if you have several packages that you want to install and then load at the same time. Okay. So let me just run that. Okay. The error in updating loading packages. Do you want to restart? Let me just restart that. In your case, you should not have any problem because you're installing it for the first time. Okay, so I think it's okay now. There, install packages. And then if I want to install and then load at the same time packages, we can, for example, use tidyverse. So this comes already with the dplyr, and then okay, actually tidyverse will be fine. Okay, and what were the other packages that we installed last time? Okay, trying to look at my notes because I think I lost my notes too. I think we also did DS labs. Okay, all right, so this will do for the meantime. So if I run this, notice that it automatically already, let me see, if I go to packages here and then type DS labs, I'll type DS labs here under packages, DS labs. Okay, you notice that it has already been checked, which means that this shell function both installed and also uploaded the file already, used the library already, okay? So that you notice that it's already checked. And also let me check tidyverse because I loaded both tidyverse. Okay, here, it's already checked, which means that it has already been loaded for our use. Okay. All right. Then we said that what we need here, actually, by way of review, is that when we access data from the internet, from sources like Kaggle and other sources, usually the data is not clean. The data is not arranged in such in a way that we would that we need in a way that we would be able to use it. So what we have to do is to what we call exploratory data analysis. Take a look at our data. Okay, and then let's use, last time we used the murders data, right? The murders data comes from DS Labs tab. Okay, let's take a look at this and then let's do it again. Murders, just by way of review. And let's run this. Okay, so we have here the 51 states, abbreviation, the region of that state, and then population, and then the total. Okay, we said that we can perform, we can add variables to a particular data set. Okay, and then what's the function to add a particular variable, to a data set? We can make use of the, what function is that, class? Anyone? Could somebody recall what function do we use? Let me now first, let me erase this first. Okay, let me just empty my environment, and then let me load murders here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables here. Okay, and then let's take a look at the structure of murders. So this is a data frame. Okay, it's a data frame consisting of 51 observations, 5 variables. character, the state and the abbreviation are characters. Then region is a factor with four levels. Population and total are this is total murders in that city in this particular at this particular time. I think this is 2010, and we can check that by doing a help. Yes, U.S. gun murders by state for 2010. Okay, if I want the let's say the per capita, the rate, the gun kills per population, then we can generate a variable. Thank you, Bruce. You're correct. It's mutate. To add a variable to your data set, we can use the mutate function. The mutate function allows us to include other variables. Let me just close this. Okay, so let's quickly review that. Let's just use the same murders, which means that I'm not changing the name. I'm still maintaining this object. However, it will be modified because we're going to add a variable to that. So we use the function mutate, and we know that mutate comes from dplyr. So sometimes if you're using a particular function for the first time, it will be good to write the namespace, which is the package dplyr. So mutate. Okay, and then what's our syntax here? Okay, first the data. The data is murders, and then what variable or what variable do you want insert? We'll call it rate, and we're going to use the names in the object itself. So total, so that R will recognize what total is. Total, and then divided by population. Okay, and then to make it per 100,000, let's just multiply this by 100,000. Or you can multiply it by 1 million to make it per million. Okay, so this is per 1,000. All right, so that's our function. Okay, this is our code. We're creating this object murders, and it will overwrite the existing murders object. And we're using mutate, which allows us to add a variable called rate in the murders dataset. Okay, if I run this, and then notice now in your data, yung murders natin 6 variables na, diba? A while ago, before we run this, there were only 5 variables. Okay, here. So we now have this function, this variable rate. Okay, so this is just a quick review. Okay, so let's we can, what we learned also was we can make use of the filter function. The filter function allows us to choose to, let's say, remove. Okay. Ay, kung sorry. Okay. I tend to confuse sometimes the including a code chunk, which is Control Alt I and Control Shift M. Sometimes I get confused with that. Okay, so if we're going to filter, okay, so let's first take a look at the structure of murders now. So we now have 6 variables, and let's take the summary of murders. I'm doing this quickly, class, because I know we have discussed this before. Okay, so rate, it's a minimum of 0.3 and maximum of 16. So this means 16 gun murders for 2010 per 100,000 population. Okay. Okay, so let's filter. Let's make use of the Control Alt I. All right. So if we just want to if we want to create a new object called murders, let's say greater than or equal to, was that the one that we used, or less than or equal to, oops, sorry, murders less than or equal to, let's say 0.7. Okay, of course you can use other filters. So murders less than or equal to 0.7. We can actually start with murders, okay, and then we use the pipe operator. What will happen now? From murders, you filter, okay, filter. So we don't need to identify that this is from the murders data because we already identified murders here. So we filter, and then what do we do, class? What do we filter? The rate is less than or equal to 7.7. Rate is less than or equal to 0.7. Okay. So how you notice how simple this is. Okay, you start with the murders data, and then you filter the rate where the rate is less than 0.7, and you create this object called murders LE.7, less than 0.7. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, and now we have this object, murders less than or equal to 0.7. So there are still 6 variables, but the observations are now 5. If I view this, you notice that the rate here is less than 0.7. Okay. Any questions so far, class? Questions? All right, good. Okay, let's create another object where the see. Okay, thank you. Let's take a look at the original data here. Okay, let me summarize summary of murders. Although we did this a while ago, let me just check. State 51. Okay, region is factor. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's create now another object. So this is just to practice. Where we're going to filter the rows. Where let's separate. Let me see. Murders. What's the highest rate here? Okay, the top 5. Let's create the top 5. So it's 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, higher than 4.4. Okay, so why don't we create that? Let's create an object. Okay, let's call it murders underscore. Okay, let's call it top 5. Top 5 states. Right, then again we have murders, and then Control Shift N for the pipe operator, and then let's filter the rate is greater than or equal. The rate is greater than or equal to 4.3. Tama ba? 4.3. The rate is greater than or equal to 4.3. This will give us the top five states. Okay. So we're creating this object, murders top 5. We start with murders and then we filter the object. We filter the object murders. And we, as I said, we don't have to write here. What are we going to filter? Because we already predefined the object that we're going to filter. Control Enter. And then here we have 5 observations. There. So these are the top 5 states that have a murder rate that's greater than 4.3. Washington, District of Columbia, the capital, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, and South Carolina. Okay, so it's always good to, by the way, good practice to identify rate, example rate, top 5, right here, rate less than or equal to 0.7, whatever. Okay, just enough for you to know or easily access the name of the code chunk. Okay, so how about coming up with an object? We're just practicing here. Murders that do not include, let's say, that do not include the 2 lowest or the 3 lowest. Let's use that as an example. I want to create an object which does not include Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. So how are you going to do that, class? Excluding the smallest 3, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Hawaii. So how do we do that, class? There are several ways to do that. I'll wait for your suggestion. We're not going to include the smallest 3 states. Let me pause recording first. Okay, thank you, Jonas, for your suggestion. Ang suggestion din ni Jonas, filter natin, yeah, correct, we'll filter. Kasi if we're removing rows, the function there is filter, not select. Select is choosing the columns, choosing the variable. So pag filter, John is suggesting that it should be less than 0.51. Okay? Less than 0.51, hindi kasama si ano. Hawaii will not be included. So maybe 0.50. Less than 0.50. Ay, wait. Less than 0.6, no? No, less than 0.52. Less than 0.52, so it will include or 53 or 54.53.54. It will include Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Yeah, that's correct. That's one way to do it. So, Jonna, could you kindly post your answer, your code? You can. Let's use murders. I don't know, excluding excluding bottom three. No? Okay, you can of course give it your own name. Murders excluding bottom three. Okay, so these are the bottom three. These states have the lowest gun murder rate in the whole of US in 2010. Okay, if we use this, sige, Jonas, can you share with you your code?
Okay po, sir. So kasama rin po ba yung the first filter condition, yung rate is greater than or equal to 4.4?
No, separate siya. No?
Separate siya.
Separate.
So it would look something like this.
Would you like to share your sige, i-share mo na lang yung screen mo or
I can give the code na lang din po since it will,
sige.
it's
Okay.
almost the same lang.
Sige. Why don't you copy paste your code dun sa sa
Okay po, sir. Here po.
Okay, so while Jonas is doing that, so Jonas suggested that we use the filter function and then he is basing it on the rate. Okay, this one. Murders, top 5 murders ba yan? I said
Bottom 3 po ba, sorry po.
Excluding bottom 3. Yeah. Okay.
Rename lang, sir.
Yeah, sige, rename na lang. So murders excluding bottom 3. Okay, of course, class, it's good to name your objects in a way that will be easily understood. So you have to compromise between a bit of a long name and make sure that it's easily understood. Oh, John, sakala ko i-ano mo.
Here po, sir.
Yan.
I had to double check lang po yung sa rate para masama yung bottom 3.
Yeah, so, 0.52. That's why sabi natin kanina hindi pa pwedeng 0.51 kasi it will not exclude Hawaii, di ba? So wait. I think my instructions was my instruction was to exclude, no? Si Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Therefore, dapat yung filter natin, kung hindi natin isasama to, dapat the rate should be greater than or
greater than.
Sorry. My instructions were to exclude Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. So if we're going to exclude these 3 states, dapat yung filter natin, yung rate dapat natin should be greater than or equal to pwedeng 0.55 basta ma-exclude yung no? Yung tatlong yon. Okay, yes, correct. Yan, Jonas. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen also shared an answer. Stephen, kindly share your answer to everyone. So it's the same as that of Jonas, no? Stephen, thank you. We have to change the name, no? Kasi ito, pwede rin all except 3 or excluding bottom 3. So these names are okay. All right, so take a look at the code class and please run it and see if it works fine. So we should be having only 51 minus 3, 48 observations. Okay, kindly please chat if you got the answer. Stephen suggested giving it names murders all except 3. Okay, pwede rin naman yan. Kaso nga lang hindi lang natin alam kung anong ine-accept, no? Ito naman murders excluding bottom 3. Okay, I think it's more clear, no? Excluding bottom 3. Right, let's see. Good. Okay, waiting for the others to give their feedback, their comments kung nasunod nila, no? Okay, good. So far, we have learned to include a variable using the mutate function. Okay, we can, of course, use the select. For select, what we're going to do is to just choose. Okay, let's have an example of that. So why don't we just choose state, population, and rate? So if we're going to create an object which includes only state, population, or rate, so we have to use the select function. The select function, in a sense, filters or chooses among the columns, among the variables. So let's see, let's call it murders, and then state, and then let's call it murder state rate, for example. May sinabi si Ivan dito, sir, can we use murders, exclude bottom 3, top and murders, and then 48 then? Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the suggestion of Ivan. Kasi what does the top and function do? What does it do? Ivan, can you please explain to the class?
Sir, it also filters the data frame po
Okay.
based on the given yung pang filter po na variable, which in this case is yung third one, which is rate. Tapos yung top n is represented po ng pangalawa, which is top 48, since we
Yes.
want to exclude the 3 po.
Correct. That's correct. Pero dito, hindi tayo nag-dplyr, ano? Dito, hindi natin ginamit yung pipe operator. The objective here is to use the pipe operator. So pwede rin to, will generate the same answer. Pero dito, in-identify pa natin yung yung murders. Okay? Could you kindly please take a look at the suggestion of Evan? Pwede to, no? Pwede. Yung ganitong function will be okay if simple lang yung code natin, no? Okay, but if you have multiple steps, kunyari, from this step, magiging this step, to that step, then indeed the pipe operator becomes very, very functional. Ito, okay, let's illustrate this. Thank you, Ivan, for that suggestion. Control X, Control B. So pwede natin gamitin tong function na to top n, no? So dito, sabi ni Ivan, create this object murders, exclude bottom 3. So we're going to use the top n function, okay? And then we use murders, no? Okay? Gagamitin natin to kasi hindi tayo nag-pipe operator dito, no? We didn't define the object first. And then this one tells us pang top ano. So is it we have to identify here if we want the top 10. So we use the top 10, no? And then identify top 10 saan. Okay? The rate. So if I balik ko to ng top 48, or maybe to change the example, gawin ko na lang tong top 10. Top 10. Okay, para mas maliit lang yung example ko. Okay, top 10 include na lang, no? Or na lang. Top 10. Murders top 10. Okay, so dito ang what's possible is to use the top underscore n function. Okay, we use the murders data and then define kung anong top what number, top 10, and then base it on the rate. So if we run this, tingnan natin to, no? There are 10 observations here on 6 bar. And if we run this, these are the, okay, ito yung top 10, no? Yan. So ang top 10 si District of Columbia, and then Louisiana, etc. So these are the top 10. Or another way to do this is, okay, copy. All right, then we start with murders. Kasi ito yung gusto natin na gamitin muna, and then we get the top n, and then no need to identify the murders kasi we started with that already. Okay, And then if we run this, we have the same answer here. Murders top 10. There. So pareho siya, no? Pareho nung kanina. Okay? Now, this is okay. Itong top end, then identify natin murders. Kung isang ano lang, kung isang process lang. However, if you're going through multiple steps, then the dplyr function will really have this strong advantage, no? Pag ginagamit natin tong pipe operator. Okay, thank you Ivan for that suggestion. Very good. All right. Let's see, ano pa? So another example. By the way, another way to do this is, kasi dito ang ginamit natin si rate, no? We can of course use the abbreviation. Tatanggalin natin si Hawaii, NI, NH, and Vermont. Okay, dun sa bottom 3. So ang mangyayari dun, si abbreviation is equal to, then i-concatenate natin si Hawaii, NH, at saka si Vermont. And not, no? Let's do that para clear. So ginawa ko ba yun? So let me do that. Murders, exclude bottom 3. Okay, so we start with murders. Then Control Shift N. Okay, and then what do we use here? Filter. Ba? Filter, and then what do we filter? We filter ito class, no? This one, the abbreviation. Pwede natin gamitin yun, abbreviation. Filter, the abbreviation is equal to C, ba? Ano yung C? Ano yung mga abbreviation nila? Si HI, Hawaii, and then New Hampshire, and then ano yung isa? Vermont is VT. VT. Okay. Now, how do we correct this class? Kasi pag finilter natin to, okay, pag finilter natin to, what will happen? Ang isasali lang niya si yung tatlong yon. But what do we want? How do we correct this class? Kasi if I run this, run ko okay, ang mangyayari, oops, sandali. What happened here? Named output. Okay. So ito minsan, no, yung problema, class, pag kaya hindi natin ginagamit yung equal to dito sa assignment operator. So dapat ito, dapat double equal to. So run ko to. All right. So we now have here, ano nangyari dito? Oh, but 0 na. Bakit 0 class? 0 observations, huh? Murders excluding bottom 3. Ito yung ginawa ko kanina. No available data. Why do you think, class, ano to? Mali. Any comment? Okay. Pinying, because we applied greater than 0.52 kanina on the same table. Okay, wait. Did I run this while ago? Let me check. Okay. Pinying, thank you for your answer. Pero hindi ko pa siya ginamit. This is the first time I'm running this. I didn't run this a while ago. You run it kayo, pero hindi ko siya rinan. Okay, sige, let's do this class. Create this object, or maybe let's give it a name A, small a, so that we're creating a new object now. And then murders. And then i-filter natin yung abbreviation is equal to, ang abbreviation natin si Hawaii, si New Hampshire, at si Vermont. Yeah. So if i-filter lang natin this three variables. Control Enter. All right. Why am I getting 0? Bakit hindi niya na-filter si Hawaii? Kasi ano, di ba? HI, NH, and VT. Yes, the answer is, the question is why 0 observations? Di ba what we want is to filter yung abbreviation, dapat hindi kasama si HI, si NH, at saka si VT. Ang kasama lang dapat si HI, si NH, at saka si VT. Why class? So kay Evan, wala pong abbreviation na equal dun sa group HI and HBT. What do you mean, Evan? Evan, what do you mean by that? Sige, try mo. Others? According to Bruce, need to separate sila with each other. What do you mean by that, Bruce?
Sir, I think yung ibis na tatlo sa isang naka-enclose siya, dapat isa lang.
Isa lang. So, hindi natin ma-generate yung object na gusto natin. Kasi gusto natin, dapat tanggalin yung tatlong yan eh. Diba? In fact, dapat kung tutuusin, dapat well, what we want is hindi kasama si HI, si NH, at saka si BT, di ba? So if I put a negative there, di ba, pag negative C, ibig sabihin, hindi kasama si HI, NH, at saka si BT. But even if I run this class, okay, what am I getting? Still, nag-error pa nga, you know? Nag-error siya. So what's wrong here? So ano ibig sabihin ng C, HI, NH, BT? What does that mean? Suggestion ni ano kanina? Sino ba nag-suggest ni kanina? Who was that? Sorry. Si Evan. Ano nangyari, Evan, dun sa itatry mo? So ang ibig sabihin ba ng C, hahanapin niya yung yung magkakasama si HI, NH, at si BT? Tingnan natin yung sinabi ni Evan. So abbreviation is equal to yung HI, NH, at BT. So if you run this, okay, error, Error. So paano kaya to? Paano natin magagamit si abbreviation? Any suggestion, class? Okay. So dito, we can make use of itong function na to, no? Filter, tapos add in. Okay, add in, and then if we use this C, tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari, no? So we're not using the equal to sign here. Ang gusto natin, yung abbreviation, dapat nasa in Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Kindly see what happens here, class. Run natin yan. Ano mangyayari? Oh, 3 observations. No? Thank you, Jonas. Bakit 3 observations? Pero nag-grant siya, di ba? So, mali yung kaninang ab is equal to double equal to, no? So, ang gagamitin pag ganyan, pag linilist natin, percent in percent, no? So, this is another type of operator. Hindi ko alam, class ko ano yung shortcut nito. Parang wala pang shortcut nito. Ang alam ko lang na shortcut yung percent greater percent. No? Ito, I haven't really discovered kung may shortcut to. So let's just use that. No? What this will return to us is, okay, an object, diba? Yung kasama yung tatlo. Pero hindi naman natin gusto yun. Gusto natin hindi kasama yung tatlo. So, should I put a negative there, class? So what happens if I put a negative there? But it does not work, di ba? Hindi siya nag-work kung nagna-negative tayo dito. Right? So paano natin ma-address to? Kasi gusto natin hindi kasama yung tatlong yon, no? If we do this, okay? If we do this, it will run, no? Kaso yung nasa Hawaii, no? New Hampshire, at Vermont. But that's not what we want to do. No? Ang gusto natin yung hindi sila kasama. Meron pa bang ibang function? Percent in percent lang na pipe operator? Class? Or pwede bang gamitin si equal? Kasi yung tanong natin kanina, di ba? Yung double equal to, or yeah? Can we do that? What do you think, class? Anyone, please? So ito nag-work to, no, di ba? Filter natin si ab in ito, no? Ito yung bottom 3, no? Bottom 3 in terms of murder rate. Pero ang gusto natin, excluding that. Di ba nag-work to, no? Yan, this one, no? Saan natin ilalagay ampersand, Jonas?
If I remember correctly, is it when you use like filters and then you can use it sa may mga characters, so HI and NH and VT, I think ata.
So dito, after HI and ganun.
I think so, sir. Try ko lang din.
Sige, try nyo. Sige, try. Sige, let's explore this class. That's the way we learn, eh. Diba? We make mistakes and then try to decipher bakit kaya. Ano kayang ito nag-work, eh, no? It works. Pero this is the including to, no? If we only want the lowest, no? The lowest three, we can call it murders lowest three. Gawin natin tong murders lowest three. Ito yung lowest three states na okay, lowest three to, no? Lowest three. Yung actually na sagutan natin, di ba? Top 48. Yung sinabi ni sino ba nagsabi kanina? Sorry, kalimutan ko, no? Top 48. Pwede natin gamitin itong top n. Okay? Pero what we want, we're experimenting class na if-filter natin itong tatlong states na to. So how do we do that? How do we filter na tatanggalin natin to HI and H sub VT? Okay. So dito ang sinasabi ni Evan dito. Evan, here.
Yes po, sir.
Filter tapos exclamation point. Which
Wait,
means
sir.
not.
Try ko din po.
Sige, try nyo muna. No? Yan ba ibig sabihin yan? Ito? Dun sa filter tapos not. Kasi yung exclamation point, ibig sabihin not. Eh. So, medyo we're getting closer, no? So, did it run? How about the others, please? Will this work? Yung not nasa labas ng abbreviation? Di mag-work yan, no? Nasa labas yung yung abbreviation. Nasa labas yung not.
Sir, I think sa gilid po nung abbreviation po, yung exclamation point.
Gilid dito.
Yes, sir.
Sir, put something sa chat po.
Sige. Yan natin, ha? Murders, filter. Okay. So, meron pang dito, no? Meron
Yes, sir.
pang,
To separate it po.
yes, okay. Hindi kasi pwedeng filters tapos not, no? Okay, tingnan natin to, ha? So, here we put filter and then not this, no? Not the abbreviation in C. Okay, so ilan na to? 1, 2, 3. So we have another one. All right. How about this class? Will this work now? Okay, ilan na to? Murders. This should be lowest 3 and 48 na siya. So mali na to, no? Dapat to excluding. Check nyo nga class, excluding bottom 3. All right, take a look at this. Nag-filter tayo. Okay, tapos ginamit natin tong abbreviation in C, Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Pero ang sinasabi natin, huwag mong isasama, no, itong tatlong to. Yung itong exclamation point, not yun. Okay, good. Good. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Jonas. Kindly check class, please, if it worked with you. Yan. So this is what I want, and I'm happy, class, kasi you were able to discover it for yourself, no, without me telling you what to do. Okay, so we learned now here yung percentage in percentage. Okay, so this means that hahanapin natin yung abbreviation in itong tatlong to, no? Tapos, dito yung exclamation point, it means na do not include those that have abbreviations Hawaii, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Yan. Tapos, if i-filter natin, yung hindi, filter natin, tapos, wag isasama yung these 3 states. Alright? Okay, good. Thank you so much, class, for really very participative. I'm really happy with the way we're going. Okay, so another example, quick na lang, ano, kasi there are so many things really to cover and learn. That's why I'm excited with this subject, kasi first time ko talaga dito sa arts, sa FINTSAR, na nagpo-focus dito sa data wrangling. Whereas in the past terms, diretso na kagad kami sa regression. Dito, I'm painstakingly putting some time for us to really appreciate yung data wrangling na to. We're supposed to do now some diagnosis, no? Diagnosis of data, which hopefully we're able to do for a few minutes lang. Pero sabi ko, kailangan natin ma-appreciate really itong dplyr, yung data wrangling dito. So let's have another quick example. Let's say murders, hindi kasama sa state naman, no? No, New York, not New York, and lagyan pa natin ng isa. Not New York and Florida. Okay, so we're not including New York and Florida. So sabay-sabay na natin to, no? Filter natin. Okay, murders muna tayo. Again, come from murders. Control Shift N, and then filter natin. Okay, so ano i-filter natin, class? Let's see, state yun, di ba? Is equal to, will this work? Not, no? Again, itong not na to. Not, and then C. Ano ba yung state? New York and state. Let's see. Naka-spell out, no? State, New York, and so hindi siya naka-abbreviate. Should be New York. Florida. Okay, check nyo nga, class. Ang state daw is equal to, hindi kasama si New York at saka si Florida. Will this work? So we expect if this will work, there should only be 49 observations. Did it work, class? Yes or no? It did not work, no? It didn't work. Nagkakaproblema, class, dito sa C. Kasi si C, kino-combine niya. So hinagahanap siya ng entries where combined si New York at saka Florida sa state. Siyempre, if you take a look at the state, diba, sa murders, wala naman tayong makikitang state dito na New York and Florida na combined. That's one. So dapat, how should we go about this class? It should be like this, no? Yung percent in percent. Ayun, okay. Right. Thank you, Ivan. No? So take a look at Ivan's answer here. Sabi niya, murders, not New York, Florida. Same thing, murders. Okay, and then i-filter natin yung not sa labas nga no ng state in New York and Florida. Yan. Okay, very good. Very good. So kindly copy that class and then i-run nyo siya and then tell me if there are 49 observations. Okay, good. Did it exclude New York and Florida? Medyo mahirap ano hanapin doon. Pero it does exclude. You can do that. Pwedeng hanapin yung i-ano natin. Okay, so this is Control C. Let me just copy that here. Okay. So murders, filter natin yung state New York and Florida, not them. Not them. If I run this, okay, murders, this one 49 observations. And then if I go to the state here, okay, ano naman siya, alphabetically arranged. If I look for Florida, wala na si Florida, di ba? No Florida. If I look for New York, wala na si New York. Okay? So excluding those. Right? Very good. So we learned about the use of percent in percent when you're looking at a particular list. When you're looking at a particular a list of observations. Okay, so na-discussion ba natin yung group by class? Summarize and group by. Have we discussed that? Not yet. Okay, sige. Group by. Okay, paano naman si group by? Tingnan natin yung ano natin. Okay, let's see. Murders natin. Pwede natin kunin yung, kasi pwede natin i-group dito yung ano, by region. By region. So let's see. Ulit tayo dito. Alright. So what does the group by function do? Anong ginagawa niyan? Okay, let's see. Murders by region. No? So murders by region. So anong gusto mong gawin natin dito? Okay, before we go here, let's first, nga pala, sorry before I go to group by, let me first go to the function, yung summarize. Si summarize class, this is also a powerful function kasi okay, what does the summarize function do? Yung summarize function, it will come up with a computation. For example, let's call it, let's say, AB1. No? Let's call it AB1. And we will use again murders. Okay, and then isa summary natin. Summary. No? Summary, let's call it average is equal to mean ni, anong gamitin natin? Mean ni population Let me, sarado ko lang to Dami na nakabukas na. Okay. So when you talk about summarize class, you compute to generate one particular measure. Kunwari, mean ng population. Example lang to. Okay. You can also include, let's say, standard deviation. No? STDEV, let me call it STDEV now. STDEV is equal to SD ng population. Okay, what are we doing here? We're creating this object, the average. Summary na lang. Summary 1, I'm using murders, the object murders, and then I want to summarize and create a variable called average where I get the mean of the population. And also I create this variable called STDEV, which is the standard deviation of the population. So if we run this, okay, and then you have now here, summary is a vector. It's a table actually. Summary 1, let's print the result. Let's print the result. Okay, I'm putting it in parentheses. All right. So we can now see here that okay, asan na si summary 1? Dito. Huh? View summary 1. Okay. All right. So it created this object. So ang ginawa niya, sinummarize niya yung si state, no? Tapos si state sinummarize niya, abbreviation sinummarize niya, population, okay, rate. All right. So bakit ganyan? Kasi, wait na, mali yata yung function ko. Murders, and then summary, average is equal to mean of population. Tama naman, population, average yan. And then, okay, standard deviation is equal to SD ng population. And this is correct. Okay. Mali yung verb ko. Yan. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I used the wrong verb. Summary linagay ko. It should be summarized. Sorry, Chris. Mali yung verb na ginamit ko. Okay, run this. All right. Here, tama na to. Okay, now we created the average and the standard deviation. No? Average and standard deviation ni population at saka ni, average of population and standard deviation of population. So for this object murders, ang ginawa niya, kinuha niya yung average ng population at saka standard deviation ng population. Okay? Okay, clear to class? So when you use a summarize function, it will compute and generate one specific answer. Kunyari, average, ito yung average. Standard deviation, ito yung standard deviation ng population. I-check na natin, class. Check lang natin, ha? So, let me get the mean of murders, dollar, okay, population. Check natin, ha? I'm getting the mean of population in murders. So, it's 6075769, tama. And then the standard deviation, SD, murders, population. Let's double check. kung tama nga yung standard deviation, control enter. Yeah, tama. 6860669. Yan. Okay, it's a time class. Just one last code, no? But if you need to leave, you may do so. But I just want to show what will happen if, kasi we got the average of the whole population. We got the average of the the standard deviation of the whole population. But what if I want to classify it, no? So let me just go here, Control Alt I, and then let me call it summarize, sum na lang, underscore, sum underscore by state, by group. Group ba yun? By region, sorry. Let me use region here. Okay, so first we use murders. And then Control Shift M, type operator. Anong gagamitin mo? First, bago natin i-summarize, i-group by muna natin. I-group by natin siya. Okay, so group underscore by. Alright, so this is from dplyr group by, no? And then, paano natin i-group by region? Tapos, Control Alt M, saka natin i-summarize. No? Okay, saka natin i-summarize siya. This one. Copy natin to, Control C, Control V. Tama na ba? 1, 2, 3. Okay, sobrang yata na isa. Alright. So here I'm creating this object, sum, summarized by region. And let's see what happens. Group by muna natin, i-group by niya by region yan. Sa kanya isa-summarize yung average at saka yung standard deviation. Okay? All right, sum region there. Okay, tingnan niyo class, no? Yan. Region, north, east, south, north, central, west. And then sa kanya kinuha yung average at saka yung standard deviation. So it's a standard deviation of the whole region. Of the different regions and then the average of the different regions. Okay, so useful to class kung merong tayong mga factors and we'd like to classify and then get the specific descriptive statistics. Okay, so instead of, kung sa Excel yan, medyo matagal. Dito sa R, ginamit lang natin si group by. Yan. I-group by natin yung region tapos isa ka i-summarize to compute for the mean and the standard deviation. Okay, so it's already time class and let me stop recording now.